In today's episode, we're going to cover absolutely everything from how to initially set up your store to how to set up all of the settings so you don't make any mistakes or annoy any customers. And finally, how to design your store so that you actually can make a lot of money. So the very first thing that I actually want you to do is I want you to set up your domain. So you might have the option on the left-hand side, but you can also go settings and come down to domains as well. And we can connect our existing domain if we already have one purchased off Shopify. You do have a very simple option of buying the new domain in Shopify. The reason why I don't like this is if you need to transfer the domain at a later date, and just having it with some of the domain hosting providers is going to give you a lot more flexibility if the store is ever successful. So I'm just going to click connect existing domain, and it's peaktextile.com. So now I've entered peaktextile.com. What I need to do is I need to go to my hosting provider. So I'm using Namecheap for mine. Log into your account. You can see my domain here. I'm going to click manage. And if you ever get stuck or you're using someone else aside from Namecheap, you just come into here and look at the instructions. Generally, you're going to have to copy and paste something. So most people will have to go in here. And we're going to go into advanced DNS. And we've got all of these, so we're going to have to add a new record here. Once we're in this template, we need to change this DNS template to Shopify, and we can click click continue, and you can see that it's added the CNAME record here. So we can scroll down and we can see that step 3, we need to verify these two things exist. So type A, data, ends in 65. Yep, so that's all set up. And then also the CNAME record having Shopify.myshopify. Look, it doesn't exactly have that, but I think that that's going to be okay because that was the default one set up. If something doesn't work, then I'll check that. But then we can come back to here and click verify connection. It might tell us if we've got an error. So now we can see this SSL is pending. So that's just basically connecting to Namecheap. This is pretty much done, and we can test it by just writing in the domain. Now what we want to do is we want to set up our theme. So we can click customize theme here, and I'll just show you what this looks like. But we currently have the Dawn theme active, which is the current default. That can sometimes change. We can click this little view your store up here to come and see the fact that it looks pretty terrible. We have a few options here. There are free themes that you can go and play and preview and find something like maybe if you've got skincare, you want to use the Sense theme. Themes are actually quite important. It determines how much we can customize, how easy it is to customize. But more importantly, it determines if we design the store really well, really clean designs, really emotive, communicates the product unique selling propositions through photography and clear copy, then we are going to increase in conversion. One of the main mistakes that I see everybody that tries to do drop shipping is that their store looks like garbage. And that's just the truth. It's got really tacky images, the layout, the padding, but like the spacing between each element is wrong. The copywriting has spelling mistakes, all of this kind of stuff. We want to make sure it looks clean and beautiful, and the theme is the first place that we can do that. If you are first starting and you have pretty much no budget, you can use a free theme, and the Dawn theme is probably going to be acceptable for you. If you have a bit of budget and you're like, I'm going to invest in this dropshipping store and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it and I'm pretty confident in this product, then you want a better theme than that. The theme that I recommend is the Shrine theme. So we've got this discount code and we've got this unique link for you to download. Now, I pretty much copy my dropshipping friends, what they're using at the time, and all of them are currently using this just because it converts better. So pretty much we can just go and buy one of these. I'm going to buy the Shrine Pro. You can probably just buy the Shrine Intermediate because there's going to be an app that enables a lot of functionality at a later point that I'm going to show you. I'm going to remove lifetime support. I don't need that. Cool. Now we have purchased this. We can simply just go to our Gmail and we should have an email like this where we can simply click dashboard. Now on this stage 2, you've got to enter your license key. Now this was actually found on this email. They should make this way more clear, but you can just see this license key there. So in this section, we need to grab our domain. which I can come across here, as your main store URL. Then this secondary URL, you can ignore. This is if you have a second location. And the Shopify URL is what you're going to find when you come here, settings, domains, and you can grab this one here. This is your kind of Shopify admin domain. So I can just dump that there and I can click submit. And you can now download the theme itself. Make sure you do click this. And you can also copy the token as well. Save that into your notes if you need it. And it will create a zip file here. This zip file is what we're going to do to upload it to the theme. So I come back here, click themes, and all we need to do is add a theme, upload zip file. We can drag that one in there and upload it. That'll just take a little while to load. And we can see it's now added. I can either publish this. Considering my store isn't live, it's fine to just click publish. Now, once this is live, what we can do is we can click customize, and you should get an error here that it's not working. We can click theme settings on this left, authentication, and this is where we've copied that code previously on that thank you page. Click save, and suddenly we're live. So this is now a very, very good theme with awesome drag and drop editors, which they're going to go through and set up the entire store. Before we do this, we probably want to just come back and look at all of these options and make sure that we've put everything that we want in here before we customize the theme. And what I mean by that is we want to set up our product first. So I'm going to come into products, and you can see there's a previous product there that was going to launch, but no longer. And I'm just going to get rid of this, and I'm going to click add product. Now, this product, this is the back end of where you can add all of your products. Let's say you're going to drop ship a couple or a few products. We simply want to add them here, and then we can change how they are displayed through the theme customizer that I was on before. But that theme customizer is pulling all information from this section. So all I need to do, we can obviously import from our dropshipping tool if we want. We can import the product that comes with all of the images as well. Or we can just create the product and then link it to the dropshipping product later. Either way is completely fine. But my product, I am going to go back to ChatGPT, and I have already written all of my copy using ChatGPT. All I needed to say was I'm selling alpaca socks targeted at tradies and hikers. So you're just saying what you are selling, who you are selling it to, and any unique selling propositions or features and benefits unique to your product. Punch that into ChatGPT, say, give me copywriting for this, and it's just going to put out the best answer. So I can grab things for the product page here. So premium alpaca socks. I'm not going to grab the rest of the title there just because it's going to be too long. And then the description, I'm just going to grab this section here, just the bulleted points. And now we want to add images. So if you've imported directly from a dropshipping tool, like this one has, so you can see here, this has dragged in a couple of images, which is fine. Or if you've taken your own images, all we need to do is click upload new. Now I'm actually at this stage working on getting product imagery 3D renders similar to this one that you can see on screen. So I'm just using a competitor's at the moment just so I can get a feel for it. But obviously when I launch the store, I'm going to change that out. But I can just add these images here. Remember, we definitely want white background. The 3D render should be done shortly. I'll be dropping a module on how to do that really cheaply. If you can make your product 3D, it just looks very, very clean. And you can see I've made all of these changes, and there's a section up here that says unsaved product. This will not publish. It will not be live until I click save, and I can sometimes change this status. So let's say I already have a successful store and I'm creating a product and don't want it to go live, but I just want to work on it. I can change this to draft and click save, and this is going to be visible for me, but not visible for my customers. But you can see I've got really simple text talking about the features and benefits, why someone would purchase. Got the clear product title, beautiful product imagery, which appreciate they're not really a competitor, they're just selling socks. They're not selling alpaca socks. But eventually, my images will be here. We don't just want to add white images. We also want to add lifestyle images. So one thing that I just realized here is this is something that I see so many people go wrong with. See how this image here is slightly vertical. This image is square. We want to make sure that all of our images are the exact same dimensions. Otherwise, it's going to be really bad. When they're scrolling on the product page, it's just going to be like moving around the image and it looks really, really unprofessional. So to make sure that these all are the same size, well, let's take a step back and delete these. So you just select here, remove, and then I'm going to create a design in Canva. And I'm just going to do custom size. Let's just do 600 by 600, create new design, add these images in, drag them into the center. Cool. And we just want to make sure it's centered. And we want to make sure all the padding is the same. Now we want this padding to reach the same edge where that text is. Cool. Centered, centered. So you just scroll down, make sure it looks good. And now we can just download all of these. We can compress it if we want to make the sites faster, but sometimes it can just make it look pretty bad quality. 600 by 600 is not a huge image. So now I'm just going to go back to downloads and I'm just going to drag all of those into here. Going to be the same images, but now they're all square, which will look much, much cleaner. Let me just show you why I did that. So let me add this bad sized image here. And then if we ever want to go see what we're doing on the theme, we just click preview here. And it will take us across. And you can see this is like cut off down here because I've used square images here. So it just creates padding issues and it makes you look like a scammer. So we just don't want that. That's why I've resized them all. If I delete that image now, everything will be all good. So I can just click preview and now it's starting to shape up really, really well. So we don't just want these images on our store. We also want lifestyle images. The product that I'm selling for is either for tradies or hikers. I don't know what angle is going to work. And that's sometimes how it is when you're dropshipping. You don't know who your target customer is. You can assume, but it just takes a little while to figure that out. So I'm kind of hedging my bets. I've got a few tradie images coming for my product, but I've also got some hiking imagery already done, which is why I feel comfortable launching the store today. Sweet. So I've dragged these images into Canva. I can drag these across. You need a wide range of imagery in different dimensions. You need a landscape photo for our homepage, which you can see here. It's like our banner image. We also need some square or some rectangle photos, which you can see maybe here. Like you might need a rectangle photo or a square photo. So we need a bunch of images. This one, if we come back to this, our product, we can see that there's a bit of empty space here. So I probably only need 2 more product images here. So 5 total, because I'm going to have a dark gray, a light gray product image. This spec one, maybe I'll actually put down here actually. And then, so I'll have 2 of these options where they can be light gray or dark gray. Then this flat lay as well. And then I just need 2 lifestyle images. So I'm going to add those, drag these into here. So click preview and you notice that it's replaced these white. Really want these white images to be the main ones. So we just need to reorder this like so and click preview again. And that's looking pretty clean. People come in, they'll swipe across. Obviously my socks will match these socks exactly. So it'll feel even more uniform and it will look really, really nice. So we've already started to do some really important stuff. The product page, there's an old newspaper term called above the fold, which is like when people got their newspapers delivered, you could see the top headline, but you couldn't see anything else because it was folded over. The same thing goes in web, which is like above the fold before they scroll down is the most important part because someone will see your ad, they'll click on the ad, and then if above the fold just doesn't match anything that they're expecting, they'll just bounce straight away. So same with the homepage and the product page. We just want to spend a lot of time making sure this looks really, really awesome. And the Shine theme has allowed us to do that. So now we've got our product set up in the back end of Shopify. What we want to do is we want to go back to that theme editor that we had before. So let's come into online store, click customize, and we want to start going through these sections. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to go to theme settings and I want to go to logo. Now, this is where we're going to add our logo that we've created. So what we're going to do here is click add images and we're going to add our logo that we've created. Now we want to make sure that it has transparent background in case something pops up. later on, whether we're using colors on the background, and we can click add. So here with this, we probably don't need to add a secondary logo. I'm going to use mainly white, but that should be good. The next thing we need to do is we definitely need to add favicons. So if we use the logo generator that I talked about in previous episodes, they'll actually provide favicons for you, which is good. If you didn't and you wanted to just make that purely on Canva, you just basically need a square image that represents your logo. It's like 32 by 32. It's very, very small, but just shrink down the first letter of your word logo or an icon and then use that. But for us, we can come into the folder with all the logo files, go into favicons, and I can grab this one. Now, what a favicon is you can see up here next to Canva, there's this little C. That's what the favicon is. You need to put this in place. You can't have just a template there because it just looks like a scam website. These are the things that we just need to do to make people feel trustworthy that we're actually going to ship their product. Now, we can play with the size of the logos here. Realistically, I'm kind of happy with that. When we're in this theme editor, I should have shown you around earlier, but you've got all of the changes that you can make for these modules. You can drag and drop these modules as well. You can drag and drop them, here, and play around with them. You can also change the view of what you're doing by clicking mobile here. I think that it's really important for you when you're first setting up your store to design in mobile. 80% of your traffic at least is going to be on mobile. Click over to mobile straight away. And we can start working on the store there. And we definitely still want to be working on the homepage. So if I want to edit something down page, obviously this is going to be down on this side. So I'm going to start up here. The other thing to note is you can actually click hide and unhide for certain elements here. And Shine has most of the things kind of preloaded here. So for our offer, what we're going to be doing is a buy one, get one free sale initially. So we can click here and that should look all pretty good. We just need to change the copy of it. Actually, it looks a little bit too full on to have the announcement bar and the horizontal ticker. We'll just have the horizontal ticker. To change the text, we just need to change these bits, and we're heading into Black Friday. And I can just delete that one. Black Friday sale, buy one, get one free. So that's all done there. Now, one thing that we're going to have to change as well is the theme settings. I should have done this when I did the logo, but we come into theme settings and we want to change the color to match our brand color. Now, I have a branding document here with all of these colors that I plan to use. Consistency is super important for branding. Your emails, your Facebook ad copy, like your animations on your Facebook ads, all of this stuff should definitely be following the same color palette the whole time. So I can come into here and I've got this brand set up and I can just copy and paste these colors across and have a play with them. So generally with colors, you're gonna have the primary color, which is basically the main text. Now, if you're gonna use white here, you've got to have a really dark secondary color here. And then I highly recommend keeping the background white. I think it's just much cleaner, especially with the product imagery that we're using. But we just want to change these accent colors to be probably this. And again, that's going to work because it's a dark color getting changed over. And we'll keep this the same. I'm just going to change all of the purple to this one color. And then I'm going to change this kind of maroon color. Now I want to add the outline to be this color. Now you can see that it's looking very one-dimensional, which is kind of what I want, but in terms of simplistic. But we could have a play with removing this gradient. So with these accent gradients, what we need to do is we can click on this color and we can change it to one of our brand colors, which is here. And then we click on this color and then we change it to this one. And that's going to add this gradient. You can't really see it here, but we can change the product page here and you might be able to see it on certain things later on. You can see it starting to kind of show there. So that's all looking pretty good. Now we can come back to the home page. I want to stay there. Now, next up, if we keep going down the left-hand side, we've got typography. Now, if your brand already has some fonts that you've done through your branding deck, someone's provided it to you, you're very good at branding, then you will have primary and a secondary font that aligns with your brand. Like if you see this heavy text, it doesn't really match this branding. It's a little bit too playful. That being said, I actually really like it. I think that I might come back to it. I think the Shrine theme, it's a really nice contrast between the two texts, and that's why I think it converts quite well. But you can just play around just with this editor here. You can select a new font and you can change it to bold as well if you want. It's maybe a little bit less painful, but it's similar. You just want hierarchy of text. You can't have a really thin text for the headlines and then not on the second, because people need to know where they should look. And this kind of achieves that. So I think that looks fine. I just want something a little bit more rigid. So something like that. I think that looks pretty good. I can select that. We can use this custom font link if we need. We can also change the weighting and the spacing as well, meaning the spacing between the letters. But realistically, this is getting quite granular for what we're trying to achieve. Eventually, you definitely will use a lot of this stuff when you get a designer in your company and you start doing custom designed pages. But realistically, we don't need to do that. One thing I am going to change is I'm just going to come up to this logo. You can see I'm still on mobile editor here, and it just feels like a little bit too small, this logo. Like I'm just going to increase the size of it. I think that looks better. And we can just check it on desktop. Again, yeah, it looks a little bit small. Just because it is quite a long logo. If I got rid of the triangle, it would look probably perfect, but I think that looks much better. Sweet. So next, we can keep coming down. We've got animations, which we don't really need. Then we've got badges, which is on the product page. I can do all of that stuff later when I'm doing the product page development. I think that all looks pretty good. Actually, no, we'll do social media. We want to make sure that we change this social media to the Instagram and Facebook when we set that up. I haven't done that just yet, but we don't want it to just be the default one. That's what we call, I guess it's the overarching theme settings. Now we just need to go through and actually change all the information. So I'm going to actually start on the product page. Now I'm on the mobile version of my main product, got the nice banner bar there. We can flick across, look at our products. Probably needs a little bit more padding on there. Looked fine on desktop, but on mobile, it's a little bit tight. I can jump back in Canva, fix that up, make sure that they're, aligned. So that should stretch all the way up, or the other one should be smaller. Cool. So now we're on here. We can slide across. All looks pretty good. And we just need to edit and go through here. You can see that there's a bit of overlap here. This is just so that people know that there's another image that you can slide across. But yeah, we can go through and change all of this. Obviously, the title of the product is getting pulled directly from here. So if you need to change any of this core product text, you want to do that in the back end of Shopify. But if you want to change anything like here, these theme things, you can change it here on the right. So I'm just going to work down from top to bottom. At this point, I'm just creating the product page for my individual socks. You should always have an offer for your product. It doesn't have to always be like a sale offer, but you could be like, get a free extra product with your thing, or get free express shipping. There should always be an offer, which has got to be at the top. You can also create what's called bundles as well for your product to increase the amount of order value that the average customer spends on the website, which I want to do soon. But for this one, I'm just going to complete setting up my individual product, because I think that that's what most of you are going to do. So for the reviews, if we can, we've hopefully got a few reviews here. So we could change it to 2,000 reviews, for example, like 95 reviews, 91 reviews or something like that. And you want to make sure that that matches the reviews that you're going to have at the bottom, which we're going to use an app in a second. I'm going to show you exactly how to set up apps, but we can set that up. Then we've got the price. So the price is $0 because it's pulling from the Shopify product itself. So let's say I'm going to sell one pair of socks for $39. And then I've got the cost per item, which is the customers aren't going to see this, but let's say it's just like $5. I'll add that properly from dropshipping app later on. But We can click save here, and that's going to update the product. And you can see that there's $39. It's sold out currently, so I want to just add 1,000 units of it so people can purchase it. If you have stock and you're not drop shipping, you're going to need to make sure that you add the right amount of stock here. But because we're drop shipping, I have unlimited stock. I can just click 999. Sweet. So now I can add the price. Now, if I wanted to, let's say, there's a few ways that I could add a discount to this product. The first way that I could do is I could actually come here, and there's this compare at price section where I could do $59, and I can click save, and then I can check out the theme. So it will automatically create this strike through price here and give the save 33% off. This is why I really like this theme, because that we've split tested something similar on the hoodie, just having this little badge of how much you save, and it drastically increases conversion. So that's one way that you could add a sale. The reason why that is sometimes a very good way to add it is because now any of the apps that you use or any of the software that integrates with Shopify with the orders, has the compare price and that price. And it's generally quite simple to do that. Another way that we can do it is we can add coupon codes. So let me show you exactly how to do that. So we'll come to here and we'll come to discounts, and we'll create a discount. And you can see we've got amount off products. So for specifically, this is 33% off. We could just, if we wanted to do that, we could create an amount off, and it could be 33 off for 33% off. And now if the customer adds the code 33 off, they're going to get 33% off the products that we specify, which we can select specific products and select this alpaca socks. And we can go through and change any of these things, such as like when they need to spend a certain amount, or they can only do, one per customer, which I often like to encourage you setting a minimum purchase requirements, simply because I've seen a lot of people do like $30 off, and then the coupon code leaks and they have a $30 product, and lots of customers just suddenly check out and purchase all the products for free. So it's kind of important to just at least put, let's do $38 amount so that we know that they're actually purchasing this, and we can click save, and this 33 off will be there. Now we have a few options about how we tell our customers this. And in the email video that I'm going to do, we're going to display that code. Within that email, they're going to sign up and they're going to get that. It's not going to be 33 off. I'm going to change that. But you can also change it in this header bar. Rather than this buy one, get one free, we can change this to use code 33 off. Use code 33 off for 33% off kind of thing. And that will be 100% fine. We just want to make sure it's in inverted commas and all capitals, and that'll work great. But realistically, the sale that I want to run with this product is going to be a buy one, get one free. So to do that, we have a few options. I can actually go into the back end of code and hard code in a discount code to this add to cart. So when they add it to cart, it'll go straight to the checkout, and there'll be 2 pairs of socks at the sizes that they want, and with the discount, and it will be like one will be free, which is exactly how the hoodie is coded in. I'll just show you. So we can come to adult, bundles, and I can add these 2 products in and click add to cart, and it should go to checkout. And you can see this isn't a buy one, get one free, but you can see that the discount has been applied with a custom twin pack. But if that was, $79 off, this one would be free, and it would work like that. So that's one option that we can do. We can also go into this quantity selector, and we can click enable quantities breakdowns, and we can create bundles that people can save. Let's say you don't have the margin to do buy one, get one free. It doesn't really make sense. You can just do smaller discounts. You can change that. But the way that I'm going to do it is probably the simplest way, whereas I'm just going to duplicate the product. So this product is going to be, say, $39. I'm going to come back to this product and I'm going to duplicate it. Just clicking here. And I'm going to do buy one free. Actually, that's going to be too long. Let's just do BOGO just so I know it. I'm going to duplicate. I can set it as active. Now, I want to change this image so that it is a buy one, get one free, which we're going to need 2 images here. And we can just create a new image. And I just want to grab the exact assets that I had before. Again, do not use your competitors' images. You want to grab your own, and I'm going to grab my own very soon. But we can grab, this isn't the best way to do it, but we can just create, let me grab this one. And we can just add probably want it better designed. This. Kind of want it circled. Now, if we're going to use this image, just as a good learning opportunity, we want to make sure we're selecting our brand colors here, because it's just going to make sure that it looks consistent across the board. So I'm just going to bring this to the front. I'm going to remove the background. So I kind of just want something like this. It looks pretty bad. Try again. Change the colors. Cool. Now I can just save that image. Again, guys, there's so many different ways that we can approach this issue, each with their pros and cons. But I'm going to come to this here. I'm then going to add the image that I just made. Delete this one. Preview it. And we've set up a buy one, get one free here, which is good. We could even remove this image if we wanted to. And now, obviously, we need to come back to this previous product because we're going to sell these for $39. So this needs to be $39, not compare app. I was just giving that as an example. Now, this is going to be $78 because it's 39 times 2. You can click save and you can see that it's got save 50%, buy one, get one free, and they can add it to cart and they're going to get the product there. So this will work. We just need to make sure that we set up the bundle correctly in our drop shipping tool so that when people buy this SKU, which let me show you what SKU is. So this SKU here, so we do BOGO socks, for example. Like we just need to make sure that when people buy these BOGO socks, they're getting 2 pairs of these socks, if that makes sense. So that's one way to do it. I might, in a future episode, actually split this out so it shows that you're getting 2 pairs of socks. I think that it's going to increase conversion rate, but it's a very, very simple hack without using coupons to kind of show how to get that happening. So it's worth, while we're on this thing of offers, it's worth mentioning that you can do a offer here. I think it's called offer, bundle offer. So this is going to be similar again. Sorry, I know I'm giving you lots of options, but at least you're learning how much kind of is available to you, where you can select, this product, and then you can add another product. Let's say it's a shoe or something like that. We're going to sell with it. We'll say we add the shoe here. So you buy this and you get that. And then you could do 100% off discount. 100% off. And you can see this actually looks pretty good, right? So they're going to click that now. And we've got this deal up here and we can click grab this deal. So you're adding these 2 products to cart and you're getting the free. It's got the strike through and it's going to add 2 to the cart now, which is probably better. The next thing that we need to do is we need to set up automatic discounts as well. Automatic discounts, we come back to this section, we click create discount, and then we buy X, get Y. We do automatic discount, and we can just write BOGO, and we do minimum products is 1. Make sure you select the single product that we have, and then the customer gets 1, and then you do the single product again at a discounted of 100% or free. Yep, that's fine. And then we come across and we click save. So we can just head to the site now, and we can go to catalog, and we can click grab this deal. And you can see it's added the 2 products now. It's going to go as individual products. They can see it and they can click checkout. The only reason sometimes you wouldn't use this option to show offers is it can get really, really messy, and just kind of like if you've got a different product there that they need to understand a little bit more, or the buy one, get one free is all the way down here and pushes the main add to cart down very far. That's when I wouldn't use it. But I'm actually preferring this option. So I'm just going to click save here, because that's going to get rid of this random bundle and save down here. I think that all looks pretty good. Clearly communicated. We obviously need to change this, buy one, get one free. So what we need to do is we need to change all of this stuff, because I'm actually going to use this. Buy one, get one free. Sweet. Just need to, I'm going to stay on mobile. Now, the shipping checkpoints. This is interesting. It should automatically update. Obviously, this is today's date that I'm filming it. And then order ready, and then delivered. This is the main thing that you're going to want to change, because it needs to be based on your shipping options and how long it's actually going to take to ship. So what is 2 to 8 day delivery, because we're not drop shipping. Zen drop might be a little bit more. So we need to make sure we change these dates to match and make sure that we don't get a ton of chargebacks. So now we need to change a bunch of other sections. It can be a bit overwhelming. We've got a lot of options. So how do we prioritize? What I would suggest is you come to ChatGPT and you ask it, what are the main design elements I can have on my Shopify to handle objections customers may have about my alpaca socks? The objections that your customer might be completely unaware. It's a brand new technology. It might be like, how does their product even work? Mine is socks. People know how socks work. They just don't know about the material. So I've got to describe that. People, you might be selling a gadget that, is really expensive. So people will be really fixated on what happens if it doesn't work, what's the returns process, those kind of things. So there's going to be differences. So we're just going to ask ChatGPT that question, and it's going to give us answers to it. So we've got payment security badges. Yep, that's kind of obvious. Money back guarantee. Yep, definitely want to add that. So how do we add our trial process or our promise so that customers have? We could add it to this section here because it's quite important. So we would want it quite high. Or we could add it to one of the sections. One thing that we might want to do here is we might want to use this collapsible row, as it's also called an accordion. We can add multiple collapsible rows here, and these can just act as our frequently asked questions. Things that, customers are going to have objections about. We can change this icon if we want from this checkbox to any of these Google fonts. We can just simply click here. We can copy, we can just write in refresh, and that would change that image there. But I think that the checkboxes are fine. And I'm just going to change this to, what is your returns policy? And we can just ask ChatGPT. Cool. I'm just getting a 20-word returns policy. Chuck that into here. And you'll see that I can click here. What is your returns policy? Free returns or exchanges within 100 days. No question asked. Your satisfaction is our priority. That's a little bit tacky. That's your satisfaction is our priority. Cool. And then we can just add another one, another collapsible row. So what's the next objection that ChatGPT could say? Is it eco-friendly? I don't actually have information on that. I will need to find that out. Sizing, durability, shipping times, they're all really good ones. So I'll just add those. What is your shipping time? Even though we've got it up here, that'd be good to have the answer. within 48 hours. Cool. And I'll just save that one. And you can see the customer's just going to come in here, click these things, and see the answers very, very quickly. So I can keep fleshing that out. I'm going to do one more. The size guide is really, really important. So let's add a size guide. Which Shrine has, which is good. The way that the Shrine sizing chart works is you click on it and you see this design. So I think that that's helpful and it's good to have somewhere. But realistically, I think it's such an important point that I don't really want to have people clicking on it. So I'm going to instead add it again under this section. I'll add this thing later on. I'll just drag it down there. But I'm just going to add another collapsible row. I'm going to do what is your sizing. And I'm just simply going to write the sizing. So I can actually just punch in a size chart into ChatGPT that I've gotten from the listing. And I can just easily come across here. Let's see if this works. That's not going to look very nice. But let's try. Cool. And now I can just copy and paste this into here. Sweet. And we can click there. Nice and simple. I might want that on the top actually. We can just drag up, click save, and that should be sweet. I'm also going to add the sizing chart down here, as I said, but that's all looking pretty good. I actually just want to thin out this text a little bit. It's just too much. It's going to be in the actual product itself. If you ever get stuck with the formatting of here, because sometimes it can be a little bit dodgy, you can just come to this code and you can just kind of delete the code, but you could also use, if you don't know any HTML whatsoever, you can try to use this section here and remove the bullet points. Sometimes it just gets a little bit buggy, but I can save that. And that should just look a little bit better for me. See how that's now changed that text there, because you can see that the text is actually a different font there. So we can come in here and I can actually just remove some of that. Come back here, make sure it all looks good. Kind of liked it before. Cool. Let's bring it back as bulleted points. Save. It's much easier to see. Yeah, I think those bulleted points look good. We could make this an expandable section. So like when you come look at Udi, we've actually tested this. You can see that there's no real product description. Actually, it auto expands the details, but you can close it as well. But realistically, I think that's okay. Sweet. So that looks good. We've got to add reviews here. I need to get a couple of reviews from people. Now we come down to this section. So this section is going to be really important to talk about features and benefits of your product. This is almost always necessary, this section, because it's, although very few people are going to scroll down to read the rest of your product page, it is going to convert more customers for those that do scroll down. And I think one of the best images to do here is a spec-based product, which is similar to this one that I showed you guys before that our competitor has done really well, which is kind of like this. I think that that's a really nice design, which we could do. Alternatively, we could add a new lifestyle image as well and talk about kind of a new demographic that we want to target there. So I've got a lot of hiking stuff up here. Maybe we want to call out our tradies that we really want to target. So to do that, you know, I can even create a GIF as well. GIFs are really, really powerful. So let me show you the use of a GIF somewhere. maybe at this website. So you can see these here, these video reviews. They've just got a lot of movement. These GIFs show exactly how it works. Very, very powerful stuff at communicating. So that could be a really effective way. The only thing you need to know about using GIFs is you want to make sure that they're not too big. If they're too big, then what's going to happen is it's going to slow down your website way too much. Another really good option here is using 3D renders that actually communicate your product. So if I come to something like, just come to a couple of these, I'm sure that'll be one of them. You can see how it's just using 3D renders to communicate the product. And if you can get a couple of these animations done, they can be really, really effective and increasing conversion. So my 3Ds are on the way, as I've mentioned a couple of times. I'm going to use this section just 100% about the material and the fabric specifically. So I'm going to make sure that this image is about the material. I'm not going to use a GIF just because I might add one later, but to add the image, we just need to come to Canva, and I've uploaded it, and I can enhance this. Realistically, I should have got this retouched, made it look a little bit better. But it's just giving people confidence of the quality of the product. I can just download that one. Click select image. Download that one. Install. Let's see how that looks. So one thing I don't like about this is the fact that it's surrounded by this and the image is really small on desktop. It wouldn't look too bad on mobile. But what we can actually do is we can use this section down here. And by the way, to add any sections to this product page, let's say you're like looking at a competitor or like the Uddy's website and you kind of want to copy it. To add the sections, we can add blocks here, but we can also add section here. And we can see all of these sections that we can add. Let's click add section. And you can just scroll down here and actually get a preview of what it's going to look like for, all of the options. So you've got that collapsible content example that I just showed you, sign up forms, all this kind of stuff. You can search image, see a couple of image options that we could add. But realistically, we could just use this thing here. We can add an image to it underneath the content heading on this right hand side. We can select the image and that should look a little bit better. Just remove this bit. We don't actually need a heading either. Don't need a button. And now we've got a much nicer design. I'm going to drag that higher than that bit. I'm going to hide this one. And that's nice and balanced. So you can go there, they'll scroll down, they'll see another image and be like, oh, what is that about? And we can talk about the fabric. So to come back here, I go talk about the fabric in 3 bullet points. And what icon should I use? Cool. And we go to this icon with text, change this over. And we could create a custom icon if we wanted, or we could go here. Cannot be bothered creating brand new icons for this, but we can always go to free icon sites. So that, it's a bit random, but come back, we can change these icons. Sweet. Go to the next one. Let's go and waste your wicking. Cool. That's probably best. And then the final one. So I'm just adding temperature regulating, and then we'll go temperature, grab the sun. Perfect. This is starting to take shape. We are repeating ourselves a little bit here, which isn't always great. The one thing you'll learn is just people don't really read all of that much. People really look at icons, headings, images, and they don't really read the rest. So don't be too scared about repeating yourself. The other thing is we can change certain bits of copy. So let's say this says moisture wicking here. We can change this moisture wicking because you're repeating it to like blister proof. And then, yeah, just kind of change how presenting this because ChatGPT can present its copy itself a little bit. This is all looking pretty good. That image definitely is just too intrusive, and I'm definitely going to change that as well. But it's all looking pretty good. I think this is where we want to add social proof. Now, social proof is really important. If you can get just like 10 or so people to test your product and give you photos and or even sell 10 or so products so they're authentic reviews and then populate this, it's going to be very, very helpful for you. So you can even in this image video slider, you'll probably remember we created these video ads. We could turn that into a GIF just so we can use those and get a little bit of movement in the product page. So to do this, we'll go resize video. And it's just this online resizer. I could just use CapCut, but let me try dragging this file in here. This is one of my previous ads. That's taking way too long. I'm going to use CapCut. But if you need a very easy editor to resize videos, you just don't want them to be too big. And I want it to be square as well, but I'm going to go to CapCut. So to make this, all we're going to do is create a new video file, new project. You can drag that raw footage in that we want to have auto playing. So I'm going to go documents to the shoot that I did, grab this file, drag that in, make it sure that it's square. So we could just export that and add there, but I'm just going to see if I can create a second layer of this to do like a comparison. Cool. And now we just need to label these. Sweet. So we've got cotton socks. Can be sitting in the middle. And we probably want to match our other font because otherwise it's going to look out of place. Hopefully they have it. I think I used this one. Sweet, that looks good. Save that. Hopefully they have that font. Cool. So they had that font so we can actually match it, which looks good. Just want to make sure that you can see the background. And then I'll just delete that. Copy that across. Cotton socks and then alpaca socks. Cool, so something like that. Sweet, so we've got a nice little video there. We can just export that. We don't want it too big. We can go square, drop that in there, and that should export. So go to this autoplay video that we set up, upload, head to the videos that we've created, drag the video in. Again, we want to make sure that it's quite small, this video, and we can select this and then remove that previous image that we had before. It's not needed. Trash that. And this looks way better. Nice little visual there. Captures their attention. Looks great on mobile. Sweet. This product page is starting to look really, really good. The next feature that I want to add to the product page is something that I actually recommend every single person have. It's a comparison table. A comparison table, there's multiple examples that you can do. You can be quite aggressive with it and use your competitors' products. Everything that you compare, So I'll just show you what a comparison table actually looks like. So if I come to the home page, I think there's one already there. So it's like my store has these features, other stores have these features. You could use your competitor's logo here or just their name and then say the specifications they have. So for example, Udi fabric is like double as thick as everybody else's, and we can weigh their fabric and say our fabric is this GSM, their fabric is this GSM, and we can have the competitors that they're weighing up and considering. The easier way to do comparison tables is just come into ChatGPT with our primed kind of chat and say, I want to create a comparison table with other types of socks. And you can just put your competitors there and it'll give this design. We can actually probably copy and paste this, screenshot it, be in this format, and it's going to give us the design for us. Sweet. So you can see that it's saying durability, moisture wicking, temperature control, odor resistant, eco-friendly. This is a very easy way to do it just because you're doing others. If you use your competitor's name here, it's using something very subjective around durability. That doesn't sit well with me, and it also might be not legal. So one thing I would feel comfortable doing is make this table versus polyester and alpaca wool, because polyester is really like the cheapest fabric out there and it does have lots of negatives. So it's actually just created me the table. Cool, that was terrible. We don't want that. No text version. Cool. And it's still struggling with that text version of this table. Perfect. So durability, moisture wicking, temperature control, 3 things. We might want to add a couple more. What else could we add? And it really just kind of wants to not give me the right answer this time. But anyway, I'm happy to add comfort as well. It's just way thicker, moisture wicking, durability. So all we need to do is come to our theme editor here. And again, I'm just trying to get this product page dialed in. And I can go to add a section, comparison, add the comparison table. I want it up higher under there. Table row, and we got moisture wicking. I should copy and paste this so I don't stuff up a basic spelling error. Yep, cool, it's this hyphened. Moisture wicking. And then we've got temperature control. And we've got odor resistance. Cool. And we can add a couple more rows. It doesn't look very good when it's only 3. So it definitely is more eco-friendly, but we'll do something different. We'll do blister protection. And we'll add one more, which is durability. Sweet. So we've got others here. We can change this. And in this section, we have the ability to add our logo on the Peak Textile. That looks a little bit weird. Probably look right on desktop. But I'm probably just going to remove that and keep it there rather than use our logo. But that all looks pretty sweet. We can change the checkmark colors if we wanted to be more unbranded. I think this is fine. Let's just check it out. It looks like on desktop. Probably do need that copy there. I'll come back up to this text. My subheading be when presenting this table. Cool. We can add this. That looks pretty good. And the product page is shaping up pretty nicely. I think we can add these testimonials once I get them. I'm just going to hide this for now because I think I'm pretty happy with this. Down here, we've got an image in the footer, which I don't actually know what it's for. It could technically be for the logo, but I think that looks a little bit weird. Actually, we might just chuck our logo in there. Let's select an inverted logo. Adding the inverted logo, it should look pretty good. Make that a little bit bigger. And these quick links, we can add those later. I'm just going to get rid of them for now. I'm going to get rid of the subscribe. And there we have it. That's a pretty good product page, I think. I think we'll convert nicely. We've got very clear information. We've got an offer. We describe the product, the features, the benefits, sizing, returns policy, shipping times. We've got enticing imagery, comparison table as well. I think that that's looking pretty good. If you can do something similar to that and it looks professional like this, chances are that the website isn't the reason why you're not getting sales. It's going to be the Facebook ad, the positioning, or the product timing, or the product margin as well is going to be the main thing that makes you not get ads. So I'm going to go do something similar to the homepage and go through this. The only difference is there's not a huge amount of differences for an early stage dropshipping brand from the homepage to the product page if you are selling a single product store. Because the main difference, so if I can show you the hoodie, we send a lot of traffic to the homepage from our Facebook ads because the user might not just be looking for hoodies. We have thousands and thousands of products. So they might want to go to sleep teas. So if I send everyone to the product page for this product, it's not going to make any sense. They're going to have to click back. And that's why if, let's say I had 4 different colors of socks here, or I had alpaca socks, and then I also had, let's say, cotton socks or something like that, then I might need to really think about my homepage and how that directs traffic to those different products. And this homepage might need to be a little bit more general and talk about the brand itself. But right now, because it's a single product store, I'm going to be driving traffic to this product page, meaning that the homepage can look quite similar because I'm hoping people come straight to this URL and they're going to grab this deal and purchase. That's why I don't feel the need to spend too much time developing the homepage differently. I will make it look a little bit different with some different images so it doesn't feel like we're just doubled up and we're a scam. But that's probably all you really need to know within the theme editor at this point. So let's continue on with the Shopify tutorial in the back end. We're still in this product section. Let's just say we wanted to add a different color sock to this. There's a couple of ways we could do it. We could duplicate the product like we did before, which would allow us to change these images, would have all the same copy. And then when they came to the website, it would look very similar to this, where they land on it. It's like, yep, I can select the dark gray or the light gray, which is an option. It definitely is an option. But what that will stop me from doing is driving traffic directly to this product page. And I'll need to send them to what's called a catalog page, which is this page here, because there'll be a second product sitting here, which I don't really want to do. I want to just make it so they're on here, they can pick their color product, and it's nice and easy for them. So this brings us to variants. We need to learn variants. Now you're going to have variants for different sizing, maybe for your product, different colors, multiple different things. So for mine's color, mine's like a dark gray, and then I've got a light gray. Cool. So when you're editing these images, we can select the image, and I'm going to use this one. It's going to ruin our beautiful product page, but I just want to show you how it works. Base color. This is just for sorting. I'll just click gray, and I can click save. Let me just actually change that. Also change this handle here. Cool. And then we've got gray here, and I'm going to click on this one. And I'm going to change this image to this product, which is the darker gray. Looks a bit darker than that. Cool. And click save. Now I can click done here and click save. Now what this is going to do is it's going to change these options here to gray and light gray. What we need it to do though is we need it to change the product imagery as well. So to do that, we just need to create this variant here. And now you've got these variant sections. I'm just going to select the images again. Cool. I'm just going to select this one and then select this one. And then I'll click save. See how it now changes? I can select light gray or gray. If you didn't have this bundle selector here and you were clicking that, it would change over. See how it changes over? It's just because that one is the default first option. Let me just, how do I change this? Probably just by dragging this forward. Sorry, that's changed, guys. Cool. So now this one should be first. So now I'm on the gray option. You click light gray, gray, or you click here. Sorry, they're out of stock. That's what's throwing it. So let me just fix that. Edit quantity. Cool. So I've just added quantity stock for both of them. So if they want to select one or the other, they could select here, here, and realistically, we'd want those images to look exactly the same. We'll just change the color. Now they can also select this, which is really awesome for us. We can also go back into here because realistically, we don't actually need this section here. I don't need this color selector. If I didn't have this buy one, get one free, I would need this color selector and I would need the add to cart under it because they're going to add one. But realistically, I don't need that because I've got the add to cart here. I can even change this to socks included. And I just want to change this add to cart just because people get a little bit confused. Click save. Now they can select their product and it'll be nice and awesome. And you can do something similar. You might want to, for your variants, you might also need sizing like I do, which I'm going to add at a later date. The sizing may throw things off a little bit, but I'll just navigate that. So while we're in products, let's finish off this section. One things that I like to do is I like to come down to this search engine listing. Now this will automatically populate for you. If you have a really, really long name, remember before I had like BOGO and stuff like that, you just kind of want to tidy up this section and get rid of it and just make sure it describes exactly what it is with this URL. If this URL is really, really long and scammy, just change that because that looks really bad. And then if you really want, you could just be like, come into here and you can go change this meta description to be SEO optimized. And you could just put that in there and copy that across. Not that we're doing SEO, we're driving traffic to this store. SEO is really difficult, so don't get overwhelmed with that. Now we can also set up collections here. So this could be my socks collection if I was going to add more products to it. So we can click socks and then we can add those in. That's similar to this section. So these are all categories: sleep teas, dressing gowns, pajamas. We would create a new category and we would add coming into this section. So let me just create socks and I'll add this one and save it to it. Now, realistically, I could also add, our pack of t-shirts, and rather than socks here up the top or in here, I would be able to, check the socks and also the t-shirts. That obviously makes sense. So the next step that we need to do, I don't think we need to create collections. I just wanted to show you as an example. We'll finish off on products. Tags can be helpful early on, and I highly recommend you set these up properly because eventually you're going to create, when you're doing millions and millions of dollars, you're going to need a lot of this historical set up in the back end so that all of your data is clean. So you might not need to understand it, but realistically, I'm just going to do alpaca socks and give myself that tag at a later date. It's just a sorting mechanism. And yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. So let's keep working down on the left-hand side here. We got inventory, which we can change in these units. I can just bump that up for that product. And then we can come to customers. There won't be anything in there. Gift cards we can leave as well. Just save that one. Content, this is where we're going to find all of the images and stuff like that, which we've been setting up in the files, and then meta objects is just kind of a lot of the actions that we've just taken. But we can add images and whatnot and just find our old files here. Finance is not going to be too relevant for you at this point. Analytics, we're going to do sessions on analytics once we start running traffic. Reports, something similar. You can check, your conversion rate, like first time versus returning customers. You can create custom reports. Again, really not relevant for you. Live view, you might find interesting as we start running some traffic. We can just check where all these customers are coming from. And it's kind of just fun to watch. Marketing is not relevant for us at the moment. We don't really need that. And discounts, coupons, we've already talked about that. And then we've got these sections down here. So I'll go to online store. We've talked about the theme. We've added the theme. Blog posts, if you're going to do SEO, you'll be creating blog posts. But again, we don't really need that. You'll also be creating pages as well. Pages are somewhat relevant. So we'll go through this now. What we'll do is we'll set up an About Us page. Just because I think that the more stuff we do here, the less scammy we're going to look. It's not 100% necessary, but let's just create a little About Us page. Cool. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to create an About Us page. Let's see if it can figure it out. Sweet. I think that looks pretty good. Sweet. So we've got a response here. I can just copy and paste this. And save that. Now we can view the page here. Looks fine. If we want to put this on our store somewhere, the way that we do it is we go to something called, let's say we've also got a contact us page here as well. This is set up. It's already got the form, which we might need to change in a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. But how do we get the About Us page up here? We come to navigation, and there's the main menu. So this is the main menu. And then there's the footer menu, which is down here. So to add these things in here, we can add the menu items, About Us. And we can click pages here to select the pages that we've just added. And I'm just going to add both of these to the footer. And click Save Menu. And we can come back here. And it might not add because of the theme. It certainly will add on this, but I'll get it in a second. So About Us. Cool. And you can see that that's now updated up here. To get these links on the footer, let's say we wanted to do that, we're going to have to come back to the theme editor. And come down to here, which is like this footer. And all we need to do is unhide these quick links. That's weird, that title being there. But we can add that. And we could do something like this. Looks a bit weird like that, doesn't it? I don't really like search. Let me get rid of the search. Close some of these tabs. Coming back to navigation, get rid of this search in the footer. So I'm clicking around a bit quick. Get rid of this, save. Now that should be gone. Get rid of this. Sweet, and click save. And now we've got a couple of links there. We might just want to add a few more. We can actually just change this to the main menu. Now it's going to have the exact same as the footer menu. That looks a little bit better. It's got all the links there. The other thing we want to put down in the footer to make it not look like a scam is our social media. So we can add these links here. I haven't set up these pages yet, but once we add these, we can come to the theme editor and we can add the brand information and that should show up. Definitely want TikTok as well. Sweet, so I'm just adding all the URLs. Can click save. Now our footer looks really good. Let's come back here. Now preferences, we can remove this password if we want people to start shopping, which is good. This title and meta description, while is primarily a search engine thing, like the SEO thing, it does need to be changed because let's say someone in iMessage says, hey, look at these socks and texts their friends. You're going to want to make sure that this is optimized for it because this is the preview that's going to show, including this image here. So create. So I'm just going to screenshot this. Create this copy. So just ask it to create a homepage title and a meta description. Copy and paste that. I'm going to remove the ethically sourced stuff just because I don't 100% know at this point. It's just a startup. We'll get some more answers from that. Remember, guys, you just don't want to lie about anything. Then next is we need a social sharing image. So you definitely want to add an image here. Truthfully, it's probably going to pull, if you don't add anything, it's going to pull this header image, which for me, I don't quite yet have. I'll set that up in a little bit. Then we've got Google Analytics. This is really important to set up. I'm going to set all of this up in a video of itself where I run Facebook ads and I set up Google for Google ads as well. I want to give you the complete setup in those videos. So I'm just going to leave those for now and, head to millionaires.com to see the rest of it. I can disable this password if I want, but I'm not going to just yet in case the store links to my social media. We've got point of sale. This is none of this is helpful for you unless you're actually selling in stores. Then we've got shop as well, which right now we don't really need to set up. Before I get to apps, which is important, we'll go into settings and just cruise through all of these because there's some hidden traps here. So in settings, we want to come down to here with this prefix and suffix. And all we want to do is just give it a couple of letters at the start. And then we also just want to add a number at the end because otherwise people can track how many orders we've got. So we just add a couple of numbers there. Otherwise people are going to be kind of worried when it says order 1001. So we can save that. Then we definitely we don't want to set up anything here yet. Don't fulfill any orders automatically. We want to make sure we're in control of this with our drop shipping app. So just keep that there. Click save. Then next, we've got the plan. This is what you set up initially. Next, we've got users and permissions. Now, this is definitely worth understanding because let's say I didn't want to just do all of that setup that I just did before. Let's say I want to hire a consultant to help me design the website and get in the back end. This is where we can add people to the website. They can request access. Or if we're on a higher plan, I'll just upgrade to a higher plan to show you. So now I've just upgraded to this plan. We can actually add staff here and give them their email and we can select where they get permission. So we might not want to give access to the finance so that people can change finance settings and stuff like that, or delete our products. We might just want them to see our orders. Our customer service reps should just see our customers and our orders. So these users and permissions can be really helpful. Payments, this is a really, really big one, and one that I probably should have started with, because I hope you guys are all still watching. You need to make sure with this PayPal, click in here, it'll automatically set up for the email that you used to sign up with a Shopify account. That might not be the email that you want your PayPal set up. Let's say you've already got a PayPal, you've been using Squarespace or something like that. Like you don't want a brand new PayPal created. So we just want to click deactivate here. And we might even just want to use our actual business email as well. So go through and set up all of the PayPal stuff independently of that. And yeah, it should just be much, much cleaner that way. For Shopify payments, we need to make sure that we're adding the bank account here for our business before we launch our store. Really, really important. So just click add bank account and you can set all of that up. But aside from that, it's really kind of self-explanatory. Checkout, this is important as well. The main thing here is we really want to make sure that customers are giving us as much information as possible. So it only requires last name. I changed that to require first and last. And then shipping address, phone number. You've got to have the shipping address, phone number for certain people. I think it's just super, super important, because sometimes you need to contact them or the courier needs to contact them. So I definitely recommend setting that. Don't include company name, just require first name and last name and also phone number. And then you've got this email. Is that pre-selected? No. SMS? No. We can talk about that in the email session. Then all of this stuff is 100% fine. We can just click save. Next on the list, we've got customer accounts, which we can set up if we can allow people to do them, but realistically, I don't recommend it. Anything that creates friction or delays the customer from shopping is often going to reduce conversion rate, cause us issues. Now, shipping and delivery, this is where there's a bit of work to be done. So they change this all the time. So yours might be a little bit different. We can create a new profile. So I can create alpaca socks and I can add the product that I wanted to ship. Now I can delete this shipping location. I've just got Zendrop. Now we've got zones that we want to ship to. So I can do USA and select this, and I can select all the countries here. And I can also add, say, Australia as well, and add both of these. Sweet. Now, what we need to do once we have the zone where we're shipping, let's say it costs the same amount for us. We want to charge the customer the same amount shipping to USA and Australia. We want to click an add rate. And for me, I'm going to do a flat rate because that's just the easiest. You can set it up and link it with your courier, but I'm just going to use a flat rate here, and it's standard shipping. And we can call it 2 to 8 day. Actually, it's going to be a bit longer than that. The shipping time is going to be 7 to 10 days, which is going to be, you need to talk to, Zendrop or the agent to make sure that that is the right day. And then we can add $7.99 for shipping. So this is the cost. We can also add small subtext here as well. So we can add tracking number provided, ships next day, that kind of things, but tracking number provided, that should be good. Now, one thing to note here is we can add conditional pricing here, which if someone orders something, let's say they order over $50, we might want that to be charging more because there might be a lot of product. So therefore, when it ships to the customer, it's going to be heavy. That makes sense. So we might need this to be $12.99 because the product, there's going to be multiple products. We can also do weight, but weight's not, you need to set that up to the product. But for this, I'm going to remove that and click done. So this is my standard shipping, which is $7.99, which realistically, I actually need to go back to my product and I need to add how much does shipping cost? What is your shipping time? Maybe I'll just add it here. What are the shipping details? And I'll add the cost here. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to add a second rate, which is going to be free shipping over $50. And then I can add, it's going to be 0, and it's conditional on them purchasing, like what I talked about before. If they purchase, it's going to be 4 pairs of socks. But if they purchase, like if they click add to cart once and they want to, let's say, add an extra 2 pairs of socks, and it's going to be $78, then I want them to get free shipping, because I'm going to communicate that to incentivize people to buy 4 pairs of socks rather than just 1 pair of socks. All of these things we're trying to do is trying to increase conversion rate or increase average order value. So I'm going to add this. It needs to be 60. And I can do another one of this. Tracking number provided. And I can add that. Standard shipping, and then I've got free shipping over $50, and that should be conditional. Now, if I wanted to, let's say, add another shipping zone, right? I can go into here and I can just add United Kingdom. But because these countries have different, like maybe they have different costs to ship there, you might want to add different actual shipping profiles for them so that you can charge different amounts. That gets a little bit complicated because it needs to match what you are showing on the front end of your store. My product isn't going to be too expensive to ship, so I'm just going to add United Kingdom as well. And yeah, if I wanted to, I could add different rates here, and I could change this to, maybe this needs to be $9.99, and I can just add the rate and put it here. For this one though, I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to add this one to the existing shipping zone, United Kingdom. And I'm going to add all of that, and I'm going to call this USA/UK/AU. And then I'm going to click save. So worth noting that anyone that is out of those countries and puts a shipping address out of these countries, or let's say I duplicate this product and don't put it in this shipping option, they are not going to be able to check out of the store. And this is why I'm always like, make sure that you check your checkout before you start running ads, because you can just make small little mistakes here. Even I do it. So yeah, just make sure that you're checking this. There's other ways to make this a bit more resilient as well. So you can come back here and you can just click general shipping rates. Now this will, if you change this general profile that was already existing, it's just going to ship to all products. And so every time you create a new product, it's going to be completely fine and kind of fall into that one. So for this one, I'm just going to remove all of these options just because I don't want that popping up for people. Just going to delete this and click save. So there's no rates, so customers aren't going to be able to see that anymore. It's only in these countries where they're going to be able to check out. Worth noting that always kind of play around with this section. Yeah, and you should be fine. Just keep testing it. Keep an eye on it as well. Taxes and duties. Now, this is often confusing, and depending on the country, I often don't want to give too much advice here. I think that you should chat to a tax specialist or your local accountant about the company setup. I've done some sessions on it, but again, try to get a professional. I actually did a whole video on collecting sales tax and whatnot. Just go watch that video because I've talked about how to do that and thresholds and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into it now because it's just too boring to do twice. So we've got locations as well. This is going to be the warehouses. So the next section is markets. This is pretty important if you're going to sell globally. Now, the UDI is set up so I have a new Shopify store in every single region. This gives me ultimate control on the catalogs, what I'm showing in terms of like pricing, that kind of stuff, pixels, all of that kind of stuff. But realistically, Shopify Markets is a fine solution if you don't want to have lots of accounts and you just want to test new regions. Let's say right now it's set up so Australia, because that's my default country, has its own market, and then its international is set up separately. If you are going to sell in a market like Australia, US, or UK, you want to set up its own market here and customize it a little bit. So to add a market, all we do is we click add market at the top, and then we go United Kingdom, and we write it in here, and we can add this. It's already in international, so we might just want to remove. In fact, I'm just going to delete international Oh no, that's inactive. That's fine. We can just leave it there. So we got United Kingdom now. Now what I can click is first this section. Because it's English, it's pretty simple to do this. If it's going to be different languages, we're going to have to use apps, subfolders, all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. If we wanted to, we could integrate the peaktextile.co.uk domain to optimize conversion rate as best as possible. Because as soon as someone goes to .co.uk, they know that you ship to the UK and it's going to be great. I'm not going to bother setting that up today. I don't think it's necessary for me to test. I don't think I'm going to do this store for too long. I'm just going to leave that. The next is we've got products and pricing. So we can see our pack of socks here. This is auto converted from, I think it was $39 before to £21. So all we need to do, it's already included. If there was something excluded, you would need to click on here and include it in the market. And you can do price adjustments as well based on a percentage just to cover yourself in the exchange rate. So we might want it to be 5% more expensive just in case to cover those costs. But realistically, it's not necessary. The important thing is to see is this rounding. So it's going to round to £1, which looks a little bit weird that it's kind of 21 pounds. We might just want to make that 19 and save that. Next, duties and import taxes. We probably need to start charging duties and import taxes when we hit a certain threshold, but I can set that up later. Shipping. I've got these shipping options that these are being pulled directly from the shipping options we set up before. It's just converting the currency to £5 and it's free for over $50. One thing to note, now I've just seen it, is I'm saying free shipping over $50. They've seen the customer's seen everything in pounds up to this point. So I'm going to have to go fix that and stuff that up. And I am actually going to have to add in another shipping rate here so that this doesn't actually say $50. It's just going to have to say free shipping. Let me just change that. Free shipping. And I can just click save there and come back to markets and going to the shipping options. So that all looks pretty good now. That $60 and up won't show to the customer. Next, we've got payments. Definitely want to click into payments and just see what they have. Sometimes there's pay now, buy now, pay later people that you kind of want to add. But realistically, if you're just using Shopify payments, just make sure you've added the bank account and the PayPal, which I haven't set up just yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we can click preview here, but realistically, sometimes it just doesn't work. So I just connected to a VPN and changed my thing to the UK, and you can see this is now what the UK customers are going to see. We can add it to the cart and we can go just put in an address and you can see we can check out here. So I'm just going to repeat that. I'm also going to do the USA, make sure all of those those markets are proper. We've got apps and sales channels. I'm going to save that to the end. Customer events. We don't need to do anything there. Notifications. So you might want to keep all of these default notifications on. You're just going to get lots of emails to yourself just to remind you. I think it's kind of good to just leave everything there. Nothing on custom data. Languages, we kind of covered in markets, but yeah, you don't really need to change anything. Customer privacy, I highly recommend turning on section here. That now set up a privacy policy, which you can read here. And we can go to the privacy policy on our website. So using automated privacy policy, this is going to be your store email there. So you probably need to change that Peak Textile email. And also this address, that's fine. That's our business address. But you just kind of want to check that it's in the right company name. So we can come here and there's no policy set for terms of service. We definitely want to insert template there. And you want to insert, this isn't automated, so you want to insert your company name. So like convert agency, PGY Ltd. And this terms of service is really important. Now, if you're confused in this section, you can get a lawyer alternatively, what you can do is you can go to ChatGPT and you could grab someone else's privacy policy, put it into ChatGPT and their terms of service and say, what do I need to do to get a privacy policy like this? What are maybe some differences? There's certain things like the apps that you use to track behavior. Maybe you're doing SMS marketing, maybe they're not. And you'll just use ChatGPT to bounce that back and forth. But realistically, if you just go in and use the templates and put all of the company details in, you're going to be more covered than not. But again, to get fully covered, you're going to have to use lawyers. So don't blame me if anything goes wrong there. Shipping policy as well. You can add all of these policies. So one thing that you need to note is your privacy policy and your terms of service is going to be at your footer, which is really important. Make sure that that is there because that's where the contract lines with the customer. I kind of want to get rid of this powered by Shrine thing. We can do that later on. You can do that in the code. Yeah, you just want those two things there. So I think that's all pretty covered from a preferences point of view. So we've got to set up Shopify payments. It's not hard. Just make sure that you use all of the right details. Make sure that you use your full name and that is on your ID because you're going to have verification. Don't use your mum's details and then don't have her ID. Like it's just not going to work. So definitely set that up. I'm going to name my store. I should have done that ages ago. Peak Textile. Actually, this is probably where the auto adjust is. Cool. So I'm going to save that. So we've named the store, which is good. We can probably, one thing that I did forget to do that you all need to do is come into this section here, come into checkout, because when you come into this, you'll see that it's got the wrong logo here. We just want to add our logo just so it looks professional. Make it a little bit bigger. Check it on mobile. That looks pretty fresh. Sweet. And I can just save that one. Don't need to customize too much else. Don't make it, the more you customize that checkout, people are just so used to it. So it could be quite trustworthy. If you put heaps of color and stuff, it's probably going to ruin it. I think we can chat about apps now. There's going to be a few apps that we need to use in future modules. If you count the Facebook app, maybe that. There's a couple of apps for Google advertising. Then we've obviously got our dropshipping app as well. We also will need our email app that we're going to talk about that in a module. There is just one app. Let's say if you've gone through this and you're just like, oh, I'm not going to use the Shrine theme. I don't want to spend any money. I completely respect that. That's, you don't need it. But there's so many things that we kind of can do in this Shrine theme, like all of these upsells and stuff like that I'm kind of showing you that aren't available on the other themes. Now, one of the first apps that I really, really like is Vitals. So there's going to be a link for Vitals in the millionaires.com and in this video. So just click that link and it will hopefully get you a better deal and then just install it. So we just click install and it'll be setting up. It's got a trial. So we can just click approve here and we're going to get a bunch of awesome things that we can customize with our store. So we can switch the app on here and click save. Then we can come back to in apps. It should be here. Now, the main reason that I love Vitals is this visitor replays section. We can enable this visitor replays. And what this is now going to do is it's going to record people on our website. This is perfect for beginners. Simply because you may have set up your website, you think that it's right, but there's errors that customers are getting. For example, they might be clicking a lot on a certain section of the website that isn't actually a button linked to anything. Or they might be trying to check out and they're from a different country and you realize that your shipping options aren't actually set up correctly. So you can watch a replay like this where they're clicking around and make design adjustments. So you can come down here and look at all of these options that Vitals has, or you can go to the Vitals app website and see just how many apps they have. So they have a pre-order thing, which could be very, very helpful in case you sell out of stock. The animated add to cart, probably not. You could add a sticky add to cart, which basically scrolls as you scroll so that you can always add it to cart. It can be very, very effective. Again, similar, we've just got so many things overlapping with the Shrine theme. So again, if you've got the Shrine theme, you don't need Vitals, but Vitals, if you don't have the Shrine theme, you probably do need something like Vitals, or you need a bunch of other apps to make up for it. We've got the announcement bars, which we've already set up. Facebook pixels, we're not going to use that for Vitals. We're going to use the inbuilt platform. Cookie banner, you might need to insert in EU countries with privacy policies. So that's very, very easy to set up. Product reviews is the one thing we're going to add today to make sure that customers can leave product reviews. And yeah, we could also add a currency converter as well if we don't think Shopify Markets is going to work for us. But all I want to do today is add product reviews, and that is now active. So we can set up email requests for reviews, but I'm actually going to teach you how to do that in the email module. So we can just click go to settings. So it automatically actually added this. So now we can add some reviews to it. It does look a little bit weird with this animation at the top, which I'll have to fix. But realistically, I just wanted to show you that app. It's a very, very simple app with a lot of options that's super affordable. The other app that we want to cover today is probably one of the most important and one that a lot of people miss, which is Aftersell. So Aftersell is going to be an app that helps you increase your average order value by basically presenting the product that you've already sold the person and giving them another deal. We spend a lot of money trying to get this person to purchase the product. Once they are sold, we are already shipping the product, meaning we already are incurring a shipping cost. The incremental cost that it costs to ship a second product is like drastically lower. So we can often offer them a very, very good deal on the next product if they want to add it. But if we really push them to purchase that product earlier on, like saying, hey, buy it, like we've kind of already done it a little bit with BOGO. But like if we were like, buy 4 pairs of socks and we'll give you a really good deal, just psychologically, it's very expensive for them to spend $100 on socks. But with this, what we're going to do is we're going to give it to them after. So they've already purchased. We've got the purchase. There's no risk of them churning. So that's why it's a really, really good app. So all I'm going to do is Aftersell, post-purchase upsell, install this app, install. Now, the top tip I have for using this app is just offer them the same product that you're already selling them. Don't try to introduce a brand new product. I have seen some great cross-sells work where people are like selling a bug product and then they sell like a really cheap bug product next to it or something similar to that. But realistically, I would just recommend you sell them. I'm just going to try to sell them more socks. So I'm going to go apparel, fashion. This doesn't matter. Now we can come to funnels and we're going to create a new funnel and it's going to be called socks. It's going to be upsells machine. Now, the way that it's set up is customers will be offered more of the item that they just bought, so at 15% off. If they accept the first offer, they'll recommend a multi-product offer of 4 products where they can accept one at 30% off. This uses the Shopify product recommendation. If the customer declines the first offer, we'll give them another chance to accept the same products, except at 30% off. This is pretty aggressive. Like it's going to be pretty full on. I'm tempted to use it. It just doesn't really make sense for socks because they're just going to get so many, but let's have a play with it. We could maybe, rather than using the default funnel, we could just, so this upsell machine, this is the default one, which I love, by the way, it's pretty awesome, but we could just start from scratch and I could just, let me just show you how that would work. Show funnel for all customers, because you can select certain triggers, like maybe they buy a certain product, but we've got one product and we go click save and next. We select the product that we're going to have, which is our alpaca socks, save. If they accept the product, this is the post-purchase. So after they purchase, they're going to get this product popping up at a certain price, which we can edit here. So this is the page that they're going to see. Jane, before you go, here, buy another pair of socks. They're not going to buy it for $39. They've just purchased 2 for that price. So we're going to give them an automatic discount of like, say 50% off for another pair. So the main thing with this page is we want to make sure the copywriting is really enticing and it's really clear for the customer. Truthfully, this video is getting very, very long. So how about I do a whole new video on AOV, conversion rate best practices. I'll set up the rest of this app, but make sure you do set it up before because we definitely want to, some brands can not even be profitable. I've just had the idea then. I probably do need some kind of complementary product to this rather than just the socks. I don't know what it would be, but that's something for me to think about as well. Another really cool thing about Aftersell is they have this thing called network offers, which we can eventually set up. Now, this is a smaller store that I'm running at the moment, and every single checkout that a customer does, they will see an ad from Aftersell, and you see I can make about 0.22 per transaction. So I'm making an extra 22 cents per transaction. Now, this obviously sounds quite small, which it is, but if you've got a very low AOV product or you're selling a ton of volume, then this Aftersell offer can actually be really, really cool as well. So you can set up network offers. I wouldn't do it just yet, but this is another thing that only Aftersell really has at the moment. There are some other apps that we need to use to actually make the business run, but these are the core ones that we need to setting up the Shopify theme. I think that's it for today's episode. Pretty close to being able to run traffic. Up next is we've got to set up the emails and then we can launch Facebook ads and finally get some sales.